Hello and welcome to today's presentation, Crimes Against Humanity and An Open Letter to His Serene Majesty Leopold II, presented by the National Abolition Hall of Fame and Museum, whose mission is to honor anti-slavery abolitionists, their work to end slavery, and the legacy of that struggle, and strives to complete the second and ongoing abolition, the moral conviction to end racism. The period encompassing the late 19th century and early 20th century has often been called the Age of New Imperialism, by which European powers, Japan and the United States, expanded their empires. During this era, Otto von Bismarck, the first Chancellor of Germany from 1871 to 1890, called together the Berlin Conference. This conference began what is often called the Scramble for Africa, whereby European powers carved out sections of Africa which they would colonize. Before the conference, only about 10% of Africa was under formal European control. After the conference, 90% of Africa would be under European control by 1914, and the systems of self-government that had existed prior were eradicated. In total, 14 countries attended the conference. For the purposes of this story, we will focus on the person of King Leopold II of Belgium and his acquisition of the Congo Free State during the Berlin Conference. During the conference, Leopold convinced the other participating nations that he was interested in extending humanitarian aid in the Congo and that he would help the country develop its primary commodities industry without taxing trade. Other countries agreed to grant him the power to claim most of the Congo basin. The Congo Free State, as he would call it, was under his personal control from 1885 to 1908. Therefore, though Leopold II of Belgium was the constitutional king of Belgium, the Congo Free State was not a part of the Kingdom of Belgium. Despite his claims of seeking to provide humanitarian support for the development of the Congo, the era of the Congo Free State would be one of the most brutal examples of the horrors of imperialism. In an effort to exploit the most possible from the Congo via the ivory and rubber trade, cruel labor laws were enforced on the native Congolese, such as the mutilation of workers' appendages, like their hands, if they failed to meet certain quotas. The exploitation of the Congolese and the inhumane condition they were forced to live under led to the spread of diseases such as sleeping sickness, smallpox, and dysentery, as well as famines and falling birth rates. In total, it is estimated that the population decline in the Congo was anywhere from 1.5 million to 13 million, potentially meaning that half of the population of the Congo died during this period. King Leopold did nothing to uplift the people of the Congo, and instead profited from their labor and lives. Eventually, the public outcry of these horrors was strong enough to force an end to Leopold's absolute rule, and the Belgian state took possession of the country in 1908. As a colony of Belgium, the Congo Basin area was now called the Belgian Congo. Among the many voices that led to the end of Leopold's rule in the Congo was that of George Washington Williams. George Washington Williams was a Black American soldier who fought in the Civil War and went on to have many careers. He became a minister, a politician serving in the Ohio House of Representatives, a lawyer, a journalist, and a historian who wrote several books detailing the history of Black American life in the U.S. In 1889, Williams traveled to several European countries to write articles for the S.S. McClure's Associated Literary Press. During his travels, he had an informal interview with King Leopold II of Belgium. This meeting left a positive impression on Williams, and he became interested in traveling to the Congo Free State, which Leopold had spoken about. With funding from President Benjamin Harrison, he traveled to the Congo in 1890. Williams summarized what he saw in the Congo in his letter titled, quote, An Open Letter to His Serene Majesty Léopold II, King of the Belgians and Sovereign of the Independent State of Congo, which he published in July 18, 1890, while still in the Congo. In his letter, he outlines the horrors he witnessed and made a point to highlight how the king himself was at fault, as he was the one who employed the private militia who was committing several atrocities in the Congo to maintain profits in the ivory and rubber trades. You can read the letter yourself online. It is very short, and we will provide a link to it in the video description. Essentially, Williams highlights how employees of the king tricked the Congolese into signing away their lands to the king through deceit, and how they mistreated the native people by destroying their homes, stealing their goods, enslaving them, and torturing or killing them. Additionally, he accuses the king of not providing for the country, as there were no hospitals for either whites or native Congolese, despite the king's claim that he was there to help the country become more civilized. He wrote, quote, "From the mouth of the Congo River to its headwaters, here at the Seventh Cataract, a distance of 1,448 miles, there is not a solitary hospital for Europeans, and only 3 sheds for sick Africans in the service of the state, not fit to be occupied by a horse." Additionally, he wrote, quote, "Your Majesty's government has never spent 1 franc for educational purposes, nor instituted any practical system of industrialism," end quote, defeating the entire purpose of him being in control of the Congo. The bulk of Williams's letter is taken up by 12 specific charges that he outlines. For example, he accuses the king of employing mercenaries, many who were Africans from neighboring territories who often did not speak the native language, but were placed in the Congo to implement his policies and to manage his acquisition of resources from the Congo. Williams claimed that these individuals were deficient morally. He also accuses the king of participating and permitting the slave trade. He calls the justice system in the Congo Free State a sham, and accuses the king of allowing prisoners to be tortured and convicted on little to no evidence of their guilt. In the end, he claims the king has violated the very act that decreed his right to claim the Congo, the General Act of the Conference of Berlin. At the conclusion of the letter, Williams appeals specifically to the international community to stop the crimes being committed against the Congolese, and highlights how the atrocities committed against them are an affront to civilization, writing, quote, "Against the deceit, fraud, robberies, arson, murder, slave raiding, and general policy of cruelty of your Majesty's government to the natives, stands their record of unexampled patience, long-suffering, and forgiving spirit, which put the boasted civilization and professed religion of your Majesty's government to the blush." In the end, Williams calls for the creation of an international commission to investigate the affronts to, quote, "the name of humanity, commerce, constitutional government, and Christian civilization." Though he does not use the term specifically, Williams and his letter are credited for popularizing the term crimes against humanity, a term that continues to have an impact today as it helps highlight the needs to address the atrocities committed against the marginalized and oppressed in many parts of the world. Williams may not have known the impact his words would have on the world. Fortunately, his voice helped bolster the outcry against the crimes committed against the Congolese and to end the more than 2 decades of oppression they experienced. Thank you for attending today's presentation. Please help us by completing a brief survey at the link on your screen and also in the video description. Your feedback will help NAHOF receive funding and help plan future projects. Additionally, please contact NAHOF with any questions or comments, or if you're interested in learning more about the organization. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and we hope to see you at our next presentation. Thank you.